Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
And I'm Rangru, hello, hello, hello.
And folks, you might notice that things are a little bit different today. And if you don't know why just yet, well, let's put that finger on it right now. We're actually taking a break from our season 4 coverage to go over to a new mod a mod that's been dropped by Mr. Crisp, Red Storm 44. And to kind of show off what that mod is, we're going to take a look at a recent tournament. Now, Rang, I know we're on Ocean North, but how about you tell the folks at home a little bit more about the mod, what we're looking at here, and who's fighting for that matter?
So to start off with, on the left-hand side in blue, we have Hypokrass playing Group Hartnik. We have an income, I can't even remember the incomes, that's just the income. I'm guessing it's like a...
Technically it's a Maverick.
Maverick, yeah. I'm gonna guess, yeah. And on the right-hand side in red, we have GreenHD playing as, what I'm going to guess is a balanced income, and he's
Yes,
playing
sir.
Third Guard Mechanized. But essentially, this mod changes pretty much everything with the game. Just the incomes, the phases, the costs, how units work, veterancy, availability.
Oh my god, I just discovered that the Stromgeschütz has smoke projectors for itself.
Yep.
I think I'm in love.
Yep, they added smoke projectors like tanks which had it. Also, I think that Stromgeschütz can actually shoot indirectly now.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's true.
Like, it has a lot of changes. We'll try to cover them as the game goes on, but essentially, it's a fantastic mod. You should definitely check it out because it's a lot of fun, and a lot of the issues that I've had with the game are pretty much fixed with this mod. It's a lot less spammy and a bit more tactical in terms of how you actually have to play.
So just as an example, one of the things that's been added in here, I'm showing right now on my screen a guard Strokey's squad over here, and you notice there's a really weird badge that's here. And not just going and giving us kind of the feedback behind this, we're also going to see they have a guard kind of label here. What, 10% stress resilience?
Yeah.
We have the troops on the opposite side, the SS-Gruppen. So these guys, again, reserve troops. Here we go. So now we actually get the explanation behind them. So these are disheartened overall in the kind of the base game. But here it says lower rate of fire, lower accuracy. But you can cancel it out by giving things with discipline. So we have some really interesting kind of moments back and forth.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more technicality to the mod, and like this whole new thing where I add a lot of these passive traits to the units is quite interesting because you got interesting units like this, and there's a lot of these cool new passive traits. Like for example, anti-tank grenades are entirely a passive trait now. It's not like a weapon on the unit anymore, which I see is pretty good because there's only like 4 weapon slots max for most units, and I don't know, it's interesting. There's a lot of interesting things with the mod.
Well, another thing, for example, too, is that all of the armor for vehicles is actually averaged out. So you have a much more realistic idea from there. Now, one thing I didn't really check into too much, you might have more visibility into this than I do. Rangers are still all set at 2K, though. At 2
Some
miles,
of them
rather.
are different, like some of the lighter anti-tank guns are a little bit less range. But for the most part, it's still like 2K for like those 75mm guns.
Now, one thing that we didn't mention so far, and actually is probably the most important thing, is that infantry has been hacked off quite considerably. As you probably saw over here from the 2 decks that we showed on screen, you're not seeing cards in C phase with things like 35 guard squads or like 74 airsats troop. And like there's a limited cutoff, which definitely sets us up to be a really, really interesting mod.
Yeah, you can't just spam. You have to actually be careful with the infantry. Availability is just cut across the board, and also the veterancy is much more forgiving to take in high-star veterancy, as we've seen so far. I mean, down south we got this pretty good push here from GreenHD. We've kind of like this little armoured group here of Shermans and a T-34-85, even having a recon backing them up as well. It's at a pretty big hole in Hypokrass's line, and he does have he has all his infantry behind enemy lines, but they can't exactly do too much.
Yeah, I mean, it's an airsats, right, to squad. Like, don't get me wrong, I'd love to be much more optimistic about their chances, but it's not going to be good.
They got a machine gun now, yo. They're privileged in that regard.
There's 13K98s and a machine gun. Yes. How has the German squad... Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they changed up like a lot of the infantry squads we're seeing, like as everything's just different with this mod.
Well, one thing that's kind of also worth mentioning, too, is that you'll see that bombs are actually way more powerful. Like we just had a Heinkel HE-111. So first of all, thank you, Mr. Crisp, for actually giving me an opportunity to not make an ass of myself whenever I talk about airplanes here, by giving me the full technical title here. But one thing that got mentioned specifically in the mod notes is that air power is very susceptible to ground units. Like, who knew that anti-air was actually good at engaging air power? But by the same token, ordnance from aircraft is devastating.
Yeah.
Now, to the north, for example, we saw a couple of bombs come on through and definitely shut down that push. It isn't done yet, but you can see that it would definitely cut severely in half.
Definitely slowed him down. That did allow Hypokrass to get stuck free to try and hold his position. He's just using some Raider squads to cover the more close quarters approaches. Down south, yeah, GreenHD's push is looking very good. He's managing to get into the farm complex here with his guard squads. There we are. Stringwagon MG is actually keeping him back quite a bit because machine guns actually suppress pretty effectively. So even just like a Kubelwagen or whatever car of a machine gun is actually pretty deadly now.
Well, yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, Schmidt-Wagen had some light armor, but it was like, not going to stop anything more than a rifle bullet. And you can see right there, yeah, we have the T-3045 is just shellacking it. And
Yeah.
I suspect we'll see a dead Schmidt-Wagen pretty damn quick.
Yeah.
Ooh, but here's the other thing that's really incredible, too. Wow.
Wow.
One shot from the, I don't know if that was a Stu 42.
I
Yeah, I
think
think it was the Sturm.
Stu.
Yeah, well, there's
Yeah.
a Sturm, yeah, Sturm 3 and there's a Sturm 42.
Yeah.
You notice that right now there's a little bit more in the way of like a nice arcing fire, and jeez.
Yeah, those heat shells do not mess about. Like they changed with like heat shells and APCR shells. They do a lot of damage, but you can only shoot them at like short range. You can no longer shoot them at 2 kilometers.
Well, it doesn't seem to bother that Strug 3 none. He just took out an MCHA from about 2K, so not for nothing right there. And we can see kind of because of that new resistance here from that much more limited position of GreenHD, sorry, of Hypokrass rather, that GreenHD's, bridgehead, which seemed a little bit more devastating about 2.5 minutes ago, is now a little bit shakier. It's in comp by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a little bit shakier in my mind.
Yeah, he did lose a lot of his armored forces down south. He only has that one real MCHA Sherman left. He does have a good amount of infantry covering the forest approach at least, and he is bringing up his IS-2 to help solidify the position. I feel like he's going to be able to hold for the south for now. I don't think he's going to be able to really push out of it, to be fair, once you get to that point down south, you can pretty much just hold. He's just more focused on trying to fight over his town a little bit north, as we do have some writers pushing in.
Not for nothing, I love watching when infantry troops fight in the trees, and so the trees just start going down like it's Fanghorn Forest or something. 11 guys with rifles are taking down the entire forest. Outside, damaged antenna, so they even updated some of the criticals on this too. That's fascinating.
Everything's different. This mod is like a complete overhaul. I think it's like it's like a Company of Heroes mod, which is kind of the same. I forgot the name of it,
No, it was just the updates that people. It's all community based at this point. And he's a BF-109. He's coming on in. He's looking to try to take out that Yak 7B. And luckily for him, oh no, never mind. There's a pom-pom down underneath. Let's see how Spark killed. Wow, that was fast.
Yeah. As you see, airplanes die pretty quickly. But to be fair, also if you meant to get behind an airplane and shoot it, it's pretty much just dead.
Much dead. The thing that many pilots like to avoid, being much dead.
Yeah. You want to be much alive. And the Yak-7B coming in, getting a pretty good rocket run onto the pack gun, which is definitely going to relieve GreenHD a bit, allowing him to use his armor. He did lose his IS-2, however, so he doesn't really have that much in terms of anti-tank capabilities, really to crush the whole southern part of the map. Here he's bringing another, or a IS-3 gun.
I'm kind of fascinated about some of these criticals. I have to do some more research into that. Like Spark, for example. I've been watching my fair share of IL-2. We know we've talked about it before in recent casts. And I never really appreciated how fragile, or fragile if you prefer, so many airplanes were back even during World War II.
Yeah, just like a 120mm shot is usually enough to, tear a pretty big ring in half.
Now, one thing we do want to make a quick comment about as well is that right now this mod only covers the Eastern Front, so don't expect to be taking your, 3rd Guards or your 3rd Armored from the Western Allies and bring it over here to the East. Yikes! A T-34-85 cracks the Tiger, which is shocking because on paper that really shouldn't.
Yeah,
be
the
getting
AP
that
shells
kill.
are pretty good.
That's true. But no, so this only covers the Eastern Division, so this is not going to cover the Western side. So I do want to make sure before anyone gets their hopes up about seeing, an arty party or the Desert Rats coming on through with some crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's the reason for that is, well, pretty much all divisions have to be remade from scratch. It's like new units and infantry, and everything's just completely changed, so it does take quite a while to redo these new divisions. So, but to be fair, there's also brand new divisions in the mod from the Eastern Front. There's some more Hungarian divisions, some more Russian, like tank, and another like cavalry division. So there's new content, but right now it's mainly just more of the base game Eastern Front divisions. Nothing really from the DLCs or the Western Front.
I just love actually seeing an explanation. This was one of the things that really bothered me about the base games. Like Recon, for example, doesn't affect the front line, but there's no morale penalties. Great, cool. Radio, finally there's an explanation for radio. You're not digging through a Wikipedia or waiting for some intelligent, handsome young man like Rangaroo to tell you what's going on. So, I mean, really, I have to applaud Mr. Crisp for being so complete thus far. I'm gonna be fanboying this entire cast. I'm sorry. This is
It's a nice change of pace compared to a regular cast where it is just infantry spam, which is why we're enjoying this.
And one thing, badly damaged optics. That's how you know it's serious. Badly damaged optics. One other thing I do want to make a quick call out about. You're not going to hear it in my recordings. I think Ranger the same way here, but he also brought in, I think, various marching.
Yeah, I turned the music
marches
off for the cast.
Yes, but there's some really incredible music here. It's actually quite fun.
Yeah. But yeah, so far the map is not looking too great for Hipper. Southern flank is still just completely tearing him up. I think we're going to be in the B phase soon. I mean, once again, all the phases are changed. We can't actually see it for the divisions. I actually think it's different per division. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, it's going pretty well for Green. He just has a very nice defensive
we're in phase
position.
B. Okay, we're in phase B because we have Sharpshooting coming in over here for Hartneck.
Yeah, I feel like up north, his best bet to try to do something. He's just a pretty decent infantry with Hartneck to take advantage of. At the same time, there's quite a bit of flamethrower troops here in the forest from GreenHD. He has a Sherman nearby. They're all scared to some veterancy, so yeah, we got actually seeing a 120mm mortar being brought in to the center.
I think what he should be doing is use that town as a springboard and drive northeast along that arterial.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna take fire from that T-34, but he also has other kind of material there to kind of fire back. Whether it's the 75mm howitzer that's right there, or even the Shock 3, both are viable options for taking out T-34-85.
Yeah.
Where's that 120mm? Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Carry on.
We got GreenHD's and his mortar to pretty good effect. I think he's just trying to stress out the Tiger, or
Tiger's got the cruise already dead. That's an empty shell right there. That's like White Tiger. That's the movie, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
The Ghost Tiger.
Yeah. No, it's just trying to hit that 75mm pack gun. Yeah.
The Russian version of Fury.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the funny thing for me is that I really would have thought the Airsats, even the Airsats Troop and Vitas, should have been able to bring that front line back a little bit more.
I think it's way too deep at this point.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, they're in too deep and they're trying to keep all the blood in their head. Yeah, that makes sense. Instead of going under, 6 feet under, that is. For those of you out there that were born in the 90s or born in the 80s, know what I'm talking about there. That was a nice little musical homage. I'd be very impressed if anyone outside of me knows what's going on, though, too. So if you do know, say something in the comments. So just throwing that out there as we speak. Also worth mentioning, guys, this is, of course, Sharpshooting have another little badge for us to check out. What do we have? Well, Waffen SS. I would say fantastic, but
I just got some extra, rate of fire and accuracy stuff.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it's like so many cool little stuff like that, which makes it very interesting. Yeah,
little nuggets to check out.
Yeah, sniper team should be pretty useful. 'Cause that can definitely pick off some of the infantry. And infantry actually pretty sneaky now in this mod. you can
As they
actually,
should be.
yeah, you can like do ambushes along roads and throw anti-tank grenades at tanks as they drive them by. It seems like, I mean, yeah, Hippo's really just trying to play on the flanks, which is probably his best bet. He's bringing a bunch of infantry up north, down south. He's got Stug in the infantry as well as a leader Panzer III, a commander Panzer III to help out.
Certainly true. And then another one other thing over here, so the Fuhrer kind of thing. So the tank high command, again, there you go. I'm showing up over here, so it's only tanks and tank destroyers. So once again, no longer do we have this blanket kind of gift of everything. Now it's only certain groups. So what? 40 stress resilience, 30 influence, 55 to spotting, 9 accuracy when staying still. That is a huge buff.
Yeah, you want to still have. They no longer have like the chain of command thing where all the commanders connect like in the original run. It's just a big ARE around the commander, but it's still very worthwhile to set up these chains of command, or have commanders and leaders with your dudes, because it gives you pretty big bonuses. Yak 7B coming in, pretty good hit on the Stug, but Rule the Messerschmitt get to him in time. Is at 37 mil.
Nah, they're not going to. Yeah, and he realizes the foolishness of it and pulls away.
Yeah.
Now, also, it is worth mentioning, we are actually in the holiday season right now, and I think by the time our second replay comes out this week, it will be that most capitalist of holidays. So at least from those of us in the States under lockdown, we do want to wish you the safest and healthiest of holidays. And I imagine the Frozen North is prepping for their own Christmas as well, isn't that true?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same up north as well.
But as 2020 kind of comes to a close, things have been really stressful for a lot of us here. But you guys, honestly, there's been a lot of comments, even in the last few weeks. You guys just make my day, too, so thank you so much for that. It's a fantastic gift to have you guys comment and watch these things. But, schmaltzy stuff now being over. 15-9, Hypokrass is definitely up against it. He's down to 5 minutes and 30 seconds of life just yet. And I don't know that he's really rallying the way he needs to.
This is a very good defensive line here from Green. I mean, up north now he's got an ISU 152 and getting more T-34s and Shermans. I mean, the Third Guard still has a lot of tanks at its disposal, and they're pretty damn good tanks. There is also good tanks, of course, on Hypokrass' side. He does have quite a lot of Tigers to play around with, but it's just trying to get them into a good offensive position. I feel like he's trying to do this northern push. He does have this the Sturm Reiter troops, but flamethrower troops now for us, and they're pretty much waiting to set up an ambush.
Yeah, and I mean the flamer itself sounds like it's ridiculously good.
Yep. The same for the STGs.
So not so much silly thing overall to kind of comment on here, but this really feels much more SD 44
yes.
than SD2, and I kind of like it. It's a little bit slower, but I think the lack of spam really makes me feel more invested into what these smaller moves are actually trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I like her a lot too. Like you have to actually be pretty. You can actually micro your stuff more efficiently because you're not having to deal with 100 and run different infantry squads. Like GreenHD leaped the rest of his infantry interaction to knock out that Sturm squad before it could do all the other squad before it could do any damage as the Sturm Reiter was forced to fall back here.
Desperate to get some kind of anything going on here. Henkel 111 came on in to kind of pound the south, and there was an off-map column, looked like, but that doesn't make any sense.
I'm not seeing any off-map truck.
I think Henkel, the bombs just seemed way too. I didn't think there were bombs; it was way too dispersed. But maybe since he was stressed, maybe that's what it was right there.
Probably what it was.
But yeah, I mean, this is so much more considered, and honestly, I like the Commandant. I didn't even appreciate the Commandant by himself. His buff is insane too. So what do you have? What is it? I mean, first of all, these guys are in the support tab, which just makes a whole lot more sense. I know you were making a comment to me about that, and I can't help but agree. 40 stress resilience, 20% influence, 50% to their view range, and -8 accuracy to anyone firing at them. So
yeah,
accuracy in this game has always been ridiculously low in the first place, but -8 accuracy, you might as well just not even be shooting at somebody.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Like, it's all... Like, the buffs are pretty good. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just Hippo just can't make any push anywhere. It's pretty tough. He's trying to do something, it seems, in like the center area, moving up his SS machine gun team here in a Schwimmwagen MG. But once again, GreenHD just has a very good defensive line all over. I felt like Hypokrass is just kind of... He does like small attacks kind of all over the map, but he just needs to make like one massive leap. One massive, strike maneuver.
Well, I think the biggest issue here is that he's been almost conditioned at this point. This man shouting at me in the south, I have to force troops down south. Instead of, putting up a blocking detachment, AT gun in those trees to the west of the marsh, or even where the sharpshooter is right there as well, he doesn't have a whole lot that's there to kind of just contain and push someplace else. I think he's been trained. He's been trained to throw stuff right back at them.
Another Yak-7B coming in, but the Messerschmitts do come out in time. And there we go. A very dead airplane.
I wonder if IL-2s are still super crazy robust.
I don't know. Maybe they should probably be a lot less, like, tanky.
5 more squads down to the south. A little... Oh, wait, no, he's taken... Oh, he's starting to pressure up to the north. He picked up something here.
Yeah, he's starting to get some more Tigers onto the field, and they're definitely going to be pretty helpful. He could actually make his northern push, but, in terms of time, he's really running short. He needs to get 2 flags, 2 minutes, which is going to be tight.
Well, he's had a cheeky flight down here to the south, Sturmbreite.
Oh, yeah.
And when he's able to take out a couple of these tanks, he might be... Oh, no. Those trucks are going to take forever to get there. They're not going to get there. If they do, it's like seconds on the clock.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, to the north, there's so much just heavy firepower. ISUs and MCHAs and these T-34s just pounding that town. You can see that the MGs that are sitting in defensive positions, they can't hold. They've got to back off.
Yeah, and they're not having a good time here at all. We do have a PAC-38 firing array, but not going to do too much against an ISU. And yeah, just with a good suppression here, GreenHD is going to be able to rampage into the town, get 2 flags, and that's pretty much going to be a killing blow on Hypokrass.
You know what, guys? In all sincerity, I find this fascinating. But as always, if you guys have different opinions about that, do let us know. If possible, Ryan, on stream, I'm going to ask you. Worth getting more casts? I think so. I think definitely it's
we're doing more of this. Yeah, we're doing more of this. I mean, this first one that we did, we mainly just talked about the mechanics, of course, because we're trying to... This is also kind of an advertisement for the mod. But I'm looking forward to seeing more of this, because even in that, like, limited replay, like, right at the end, he suppressed some machine gun teams of 5 support, and then he moved in with, like, some infantry squads to take the town, and that really secured him the victory. It was like a good 1-2 punch, and it wasn't just, I keep saying just spam and stroke keys, but I feel like that's what we see a lot. It's just a lot of spam, or T-34 76 spam, and as you're seeing the kills here for, 20-minute match, much less dead. Like, it's a slower mod, but it's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's chess and not just checkers where you just throw stuff at each other and hope that something sticks.
And looking at kills, like, only one thing got more than 1 kill, and that was the Sherman.
But and like you said too, I think the biggest thing, you look at the other side, we have one with 3 kills, then 2 other armored vehicles, 3 armored vehicles. So 4 guys, they basically have more than 1 kill. But this is a much more deliberate thing.
Yeah, it's slower, it's steadier, but you have a little bit more time to think. It's nice. Seriously, try out the mod. It's a lot of fun. It completely changes how you have to play the game, and it's definitely a cool new learning experience. And we look forward to doing more of this mod because it's a good change of pace, Khan.
It's refreshing. It's like, right now we're in the middle of a winter, but it's like having a mojito on the beach someplace.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, absolutely true. But folks, I think that's going to do it for us here. for this particular instant. I know our next cast is going to be coming on Christmas Eve day, so just want to give a nice little present to you guys just before we have that Christmas on Friday. So I guess until next time, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangaroo. Take it easy.